Danny, first of all, then, before we start, I think the first question is, how are you dealing with all of this as well? Because you're at home, you've had your period of self isolation. So, what's all this been like for you for the last few days or weeks or so?
Yeah, it's not been ideal, to be honest. It's not how you want to do things. Try to stay as much part of what's going on as possible. Obviously, with Zooms, phone calls constantly, but no, you want to be there day to day on the training pitch and that kind of thing, seeing the players. So no, it's not ideal, but we're making the best of the situation we've kind of been thrown into.
And you have really been thrown into it because you are, without being disrespectful, you're the interim manager. You've not managed before for an extended period, and you couldn't have wished for a bigger baptism of fire than this, really, could you?
No, it's a good test. I think in management, there's always going to be tests and challenges. I've got a lot of support around me within the football club, so I'm extremely lucky in that sense. So no, there's obviously challenges daily, but no, we're dealing with them as they're put in front of us.
How are you doing yourself as well? I know your period of isolation's into next week, I think, but I imagine that are you a good kind of self-isolator? Are you dealing with it okay?
I'm not a good self-isolator, not at the best of times. I'm feeling better myself the last couple of days, which is good. So yeah, no, it's just a frustration of not being able to get out and about, and obviously be involved at the club on a day-to-day basis. That is the hardest part.
And what have you been doing in terms of relaying instructions to Frank and the other coaches who are around in terms of what you want them to be working on and shape and fitness and that type of thing? What have you been saying to them?
Yeah, we've been speaking several times during the day. We've done Zoom calls. I've been on the Zoom call today with the players doing the team meeting. They had the presentation that Mike's done over Zoom. So we're doing all that kind of thing. We're speaking daily on the phone. We talk about training sessions, team lineups, set piece. So we're doing everything we would as if I was there, but it's just obviously over the phone and via Zoom.
I have to ask about some of the training sessions because there was a talk this week that the players had been trying some different stuff like rugby and all that. What's all that about? How's that come about?
I think what's going on is the pitches are terrible. Obviously, the frozen over, the snow on the pitch, there's ice on the Astro. We weren't able to get proper training sessions the last few days just due to the weather, the rain as well. And I think it's just different ways of warming people up and different exercises and keeping lads on the move and keeping them active. No one's going down the rugby route or anything like that. It's just different ways to keep them active, the fitness up and keep them mobile and ready for the game.
In terms of you, we know about. What about the other players? I know they're getting tested now twice a week. Have you had any more COVID tests come back? And do you know of any more who've got it?
No, we had a test again on Thursday. And the players-wise, we all got the all clear, which was very positive. So we're hoping we bear the brunt of it now, and hopefully we're coming out the other side.
Is it difficult though to try and prepare for a game when you're not sure who's going to be involved? For example, if you've got some who are pending tests, you can't plan for them being in the side, can you? If you don't know whether or not they're going to be available to you.
Well, we're testing every single person getting tested twice a week. So at any moment throughout the week, you could lose an individual, you could lose a handful of players. That's just the situation we're in at the moment, and we can't do anything about that. So we prepare as well as we can with the players we've got, and if anything changes or anyone drops out, we have to adjust accordingly, really.
Have you got like plan A, plan B, plan C, all the way down to Z for if anybody comes back and they're positive and you have to leave them out?
Obviously, we look at all the scenarios that could possibly happen. We try not to cross that bridge until somebody does become ill or does have to self-isolate or does get injured. But it's no different. You can lose players through illness and injury at the best of times. So it amplifies that really. But no, we're just prepared, like I said. And when somebody does drop out, we adjust accordingly.
Is it hard as well to, I know because coronavirus doesn't just affect players and coaches, it can be in the backroom team as well. It can be in the offices and the admin side. So have you got to be really careful to try and make sure that the players are, if you like, self-isolating, even if they've not got it, just so that your group, if you like, is protected as much as it can be?
Yeah, definitely. We know we're trying to do everything we possibly can within the football club. The lads know when they go home, and just to try and keep us safe and as distant from people as possible. I think in the environment we're in within a football club, we can do as much as we can, but it's virtually impossible to completely stop it and stop that contact between players. But we're doing everything we can as a football club, whether that's the players, the staff, the office staff, to be as safe as possible and try and limit the cases that we do get.
Away from COVID, the other thing to obviously think about is injuries as well. Aside from the virus, are you looking okay on that front?
Yeah, we've lost Popey, which people obviously know about, but we've got Gibbo's coming back now, which is a big positive. We've got Manny's coming back again, another big positive. So no, although on one side we've lost one, we are getting players back, which again will strengthen us going forward.
And to talk about them as well, I suppose you've got to try and manage it, because the best thing to do for players who are coming back is to get them involved with the group and get them doing ball work. And that must be difficult with you not being there, but B, with COVID as well. And they've got to try and work on different methods as well. It's not just as straightforward as throwing them straight back into it.
No, I think the lads, Gibbo's had been out a while now, Manny's been out a while. We don't just want to throw them back. We want to make sure they're right. We want to make sure they're ready, so they don't have any setbacks. So the preparation they've done with the physios, they've got them up to a certain standard, and now it's just up to us to integrate them now into the football side of things, so they're ready when they're needed.
Are you still looking at new players and such? I know Curtis has come in as well, Jake Taylor too. So you're still on the lookout for players that might strengthen you in this window. And I know that Carol had said that she's got a full faith in allowing you to do that.
Yeah, like I said, I think I said last week, we're constantly looking at players. At the moment, like I said, we believe we have a very strong squad, a good group of players. But if we do think there's somebody out there who can make us better, we have got the permission and to go out and do that if it's the right person.
Have you got a position in mind, or the type of player that you're looking for? Are you looking down the academy route, or more experience, or have you got certain positions that you want to look at to try and strengthen?
There's positions we could strengthen, yeah, and that we are looking at. I don't think I'll go into the certain positions. But yeah, no, we're not just looking academy route or a certain age bracket. Like I said, if they're going to make us better, if they'll improve us as a team, we will look to do it.
And just looking at that, I know that Theo was deregistered, and I think Harry McCurdy as well. Are there players that perhaps now might need to go elsewhere to play football if you want to bring more in? I'm not sure where you're up to with the cap on your numbers and such now.
Yeah, I think like we said, obviously, if we want to bring anyone in now, people have to leave the squad. It's not a nice thing to have to do, but that's just the way it is now from this season. So yeah, no, like I said, if people need to come in, people will have to leave the squad. So it's got to be the right decision. It's got to be the right player. And like I said, they've got to make us better. There's no point just bringing players in for the sake of bringing players in. They've got to improve us.
Is that hard to manage as well, as particularly in your position, coming into it new with players like Theo and Harry and whoever else? But you know, you've got to have those uncomfortable conversations, and it's one of the first things that you've had to do as a manager.
Yeah, they're never nice to have these kind of conversations. I was involved in them as a player, but on the other side of things, being on this side, yeah, it's difficult. It's not nice. But we'll try to do this. Every decision we'll make, it's not off the cuff. It's genuinely thought about, and what we'll do, what we believe is the best thing for the football club.
Have you had any interest in any of your players at the moment in terms of them leaving?
Yeah, I believe there's been some interest in a few of the lads. Again, don't really want to disclose that, but yeah, there is talented players we've got within the group, like I've said, and there are going to be clubs who are interested in some of the players.
In terms of looking at Walsall, then everybody will surely want to forget that game just before Christmas at the Bescot. But have you looked at that and learned a few things from it about the way they play, but also in that game where Vale were pretty much in control and then they went on to lose? Have you learned anything from how that game panned out, if you like?
Yeah, obviously, the result from that game still hurts. It was absolutely sickening result. Because we had started the game so well, we got ourselves into such a good position. and then to lose the game was obviously disappointing. So yeah, we've watched the game again. We've learned as much as we can from it. We're still looking at it, and we don't want to make the same mistakes again.
And when you are preparing for a game like that, in essence, because it was so near to Christmas, because, as you say, it still hurts and it's in your mind, has that made it slightly easier to prepare for it? Because, if you like, it's kind of ingrained in your memory so much.
Yeah, I think you would know exactly what happened that day. It'll be a similar players from their side of things as well, so we know exactly what to expect. But yeah, no, it still hurts and it should still hurt, and hopefully we can take that hurt into the game and work it in our favour.
And without wishing to preempt you as well, I know you've approached different games differently in terms of tactics and stuff. Is that something you're doing with this one as well? Are you trying to mix things up as much as you can to try and not only make your lineup a bit unpredictable, but are you a manager who's adapting your tactics to the opposition rather than playing, say, one way every week?
Yeah, like I said, we played slightly differently in the games we played so far, but we'll play more what suits us as opposed to probably adapting to other teams. We're going to play the formation or the lineup that we think gives us the best chance of winning the game on that particular day, whoever that may be up against.
And just one final thing for you on a personal note, what's it going to be like just to walk back into Vale Park finally when you've got over all of this and you can get back out on that training pitch again and actually start doing some work rather than having to do it all like this?
I genuinely can't wait. I've really missed just being around the place, being around the players, the staff. As good as this technology is, being able to speak on Zoom, phone calls, it's not the same as being that face-to-face contact and being there. So no, like I said, they're in good hands with obviously Frank and Billy and Ronnie and Mike and people like that. But for myself, you just want to be there and be involved.
Danny, thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.
How's Dave Worrell doing after his ankle injury last week?
Yeah, he's doing a lot better. Yeah, he's training again this week. So no big improvements from him. So we're hoping he'll be available for the game tomorrow.
Excellent. Phil mentioned the social media rooms. I don't sort of bang on about it, but it might be people putting two and two together, saying players actually got injured playing rugby, but that's not the case. You don't like to have a rugby game in training.
No, we wouldn't have been. If anything, there would just be part of a warm up where you throw head catch maybe on those kind of things. So no, we wouldn't usually be playing full scale rugby during training. No.
Fair enough. Danny, Tom Conlon, he's been your captain for the last couple of weeks. Have you made a decision long term now? What's the latest with that?
Like with any decision at the moment, we're not looking that obviously too far ahead. Tom's come in, and I thought at the time he was the perfect candidate to step into that role. I think he's grasped it with both hands. He's performed well. He's taken on the responsibility. So there's no reason at this moment in time for me to change it.
Is he someone you've worked with closely anyway, Danny? When you were coach, obviously played in your position. Is he someone you've seen develop over the last sort of couple of years?
Yeah, definitely. I think he's. I think everyone's seen as a player how much he's come on, what he has to offer. I think the maturity's coming into his game now more so, and I think that's why the captaincy was. It suits him really, and he's taken to it very well.